So we'll go on to United v Palace, which ended in Palace beating United 1-0. You went to the game, I didn't. I missed it this week. I'll let you start if you want.
Yeah, it feels like such a boring, dismal, horrible game to talk about, and I'm not just saying that because we lost, but I feel like we had a lot of the ball. We just did not threaten with it. The forwards looked awful. I think Højlund had a couple of chances, he had a few runs, but the decision making, you could probably make a highlight reel from the amount of times Rashford ran forward and seemed to be completely out of idea. Very, very disillusioning to watch. I think Pellistri, very difficult game for him, but I think he got the start from playing well against Palace midweek.
You say he played well. I thought he was awful in that as well, though, to be honest. I just think he's out of his depth.
I think, well, it's difficult. I personally, I would pick him in the situation we're in.
And would you not stick Mount up there and put Bruno centre?
Maybe. I thought Mount was good again. I know I've had him as me flop because he's not got a goal, he's not got an assist. I wouldn't say he's controlled games when he has played. But he looked good for 45 minutes midweek against Palace before he come off. He had some nice touches and was moving the ball well. And I'm pretty sure he got an assist for the Casemiro header in the midweek game.
Corner, yeah.
And then in this game again, he was constant. I've noticed it a few times now when he does play. He's constantly making runs and like looking at a player for the ball, and he gets ignored quite a lot. And I don't know if that's because he's new, or they don't think he's asking and showing for the ball constantly. He was throwing himself in tackles. I didn't think he was a problem. I think getting it to that front three was an issue. Like what a lot of teams would do in one pass, we do in three.
Yeah, and it's very slow, isn't it?
And, swapping, doing it, making that switch from left to right to maybe exploit some space. The passing is so slow that the space is gone when we move the ball. So we're just going left to right, forward, back, progressing not really at all.
You've seen the video that's doing the rounds. It shows the staff on the bench with Ten Hag. Every time Rashford gets the ball and he's making a decision, the staff are just like huffing and puffing. Like
he's trying to. All I saw him do was try and run through players. There's times in recent games where he should be looking to move the ball to a teammate because they're in a better position, and he takes a shot on.
Do you know what he was doing as well? I noticed. He's been doing it a long time, but when he picks up the ball, yeah, maybe there isn't a lot of movement for you, but get rid of the ball and keep it moving fast. He keeps hold of the ball.
He stops, doesn't he?
He stops.
He just looks at them and does a few step overs.
And how that kills the game is unreal. Like, you don't realise how much that kills the game.
Everyone gets back. I was critical of Sancho for doing a lot of the same. I saw Sancho do a lot. He'd be like ball rolling it, and suddenly they've got 10 man behind the ball again.
But I think that's down to the manager. The manager needs to say to them, right, when Rashford gets the ball here, I know you're not supposed to treat him like kids, but Pep probably does it. He goes, when Rashford picks up the ball, Højlund, this is what you need to be doing. Bruno, this is what you need to be doing. Yeah. And you need to be moving here, you need to be moving here. So when Rashford picks up the ball, he's always got options. I'm not saying Rashford's in the right. Yeah, I believe he should be dropped next game, but you might have to start treating them like kids.
I think he's clearly being quite kind to them as well, because there's a lot of managers that, based on the first half performance on Saturday, would have probably taken someone off. Like there was enough individual poor performances out there in that first 45 minutes, and a lot of managers would take their opportunity there. Doesn't mean they're falling out with that player, but they'd go, "You've been shit, you're coming off."
Yeah,
and they just show that, listen, I'm the boss and I'll do that. And it's crazy because we put out this, what you would say is a fringe team, midweek, same opposition, same stadium, and they were dreadful. Palace were. We absolutely pissed it past them.
What I don't get is, how can Casemiro have a man of the match performance in midweek, and he was arguably the worst player on the pitch on Saturday?
I thought he was poor as well, and then I watched the highlights back, and he had quite a few good chances to score.
Yeah. Like there was a long range shot that nearly went in. But
it was a good effort. He had a header that he probably should have done better with.
Mount missed a sitter header.
Was that? I can't remember that one at
Yeah,
all.
it was near post. He was unmarked, missed a sitter,
But I don't remember us creating an awful lot. I think there was quite a good save from a Bruno shot. It was relatively towards the corner.
Garnacho came on and he created more than any player on the pitch did in 80 minutes, 70 minutes.
Bruno had not a great game, but he, like he often does, was everywhere.
Yeah.
So it never really bothers me. Like some of his passes were a bit wayward. Our corners, Jesus, we might be the worst team in the league from set pieces.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
But we've been like that for years.
The crowd. I'm at the point now, and I know you want to get the team going, but the crowd celebrate because we've won a corner. I'm like, I'd rather have a goal kick.
Yeah.
Like all we do is open ourselves up to get counted on because we even signed Harry Maguire, and I'm thinking we're going to start scoring goals from corners now. And there was a point when we first signed him and Bruno put a ball in, Maguire header from a corner. I thought, this is what we're going to see a lot of this.
Yeah.
That might have been the last time he scored one.
Well, so Mount obviously did it in midweek. He's just come into the team. He's done a corner and we scored. So that'll wear off with Mount.
We don't look a threat from set pieces at all. But it seems to me at times like we're playing for them.
I think that's to do with sometimes the players we've signed, because we've recently got Johnny Evans and he started against Burnley, and you remember he scored from a corner. And when we had Ronaldo, he scored from a few corners.
Very good.
I think it's the players not getting on the head; they're getting it on the head. So
even I'm watching. I don't know what he brought Eriksen on for.
Van der Beek and Maguire coming on.
Bit weird. I thought he was bringing Maguire on as a striker. I didn't understand.
Probably should have, mate.
I was thinking at this point, this is the dire straits we're in. We're losing 1-0 to Palace and we're putting a centre forward up top, proper old school. That's what I thought he was actually doing.
Written for him to get his big head on it.
But I thought, I don't know what those players are supposed to do. They've gone out midweek. You've played Palace, and I think that's why Pellistri got started, because I think the manager must have liked his performance and said, I'm giving you the nod on Saturday.
Yeah, he does a lot of running, doesn't he?
But Hannibal dropped. God, you noticed the difference of him not being in that midfield.
Yeah.
I think Maguire had a really good game. And I'm not saying throw him straight back in, but he's conducted himself very well at Manchester United when things haven't gone his way. Never comes out and says anything bad. He's like, I want to stay here, I want to work hard, blah, blah, blah. Gets his chance midweek against Palace, and I know they were poor again. Clean sheet, gets 90 minutes. You could have started him this weekend. I'm not saying that the result might have been any different, but I don't know how these players that aren't in the team are supposed to get in. When you look at Hannibal, he's been brilliant all the games he played.
Yeah, he has, yeah.
Gets dropped, we lose. We lacked a lot in midfield.
I think he needs to... Got Galatasaray midweek. I think he needs to bring Garnacho in on the left and Hannibal centre attacking mid. Even if that means Mount on the right and Bruno next to Casemiro, or the other way about. I think that's the way to go.
We could
just for the press.
I don't personally want it, and I do think Rashford should probably be dropped for a game. I mean, he did get dropped for the Palace Cup game, but I think that's because he thought that he was resting his best team.
Yeah.
But I think that I don't think he'd be very good there, but you could put him out on the right. You're not going to probably put Garnacho there because he's a young lad. And we know it's a shame, because I don't want to say that we should be playing Rashford anywhere other than the left, because we've seen what a difference it makes playing him in position. But as the more senior of the two pairs, and you'd say him and Garnacho are the two best wingers we've got at the moment.
Garnacho's doing a lot more.
Well, you see how much the fans want him on the pitch when as soon as he starts warming up, everyone wants him on. They start chanting his name when it gets to 60, 70 minutes and he's not been brought on yet.
United are just in crisis, because if you look at the first opening 7 fixtures, we've lost 4 of them.
Yep.
And it's the worst start in the league for 34 years.
It's crazy to say that when you think, I thought we'd stopped breaking records for the wrong reasons now, because we've been so crap.
I swear we break the record for the worst start in the league every single season.
It's just getting worse, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is their worst league start since last year.
But the 4 games that they've lost, Spurs and Arsenal aways, right? Fair enough. I wouldn't even be that bothered about that. I mean, if you want to start challenging for the league, you've got to be at least getting
You've got to be doing better, yeah.
But then the Brighton and Palace, you've got to be beating them at home.
I think as well, we were talking about, I went into the Brighton game confident, even though Brighton are a good opposition because I started to finally get the mentality back that Old Trafford's a fortress.
Yeah.
Old Trafford's a fortress. I've not thought it for years, but since last season, we really did make our home performances a lot better.
Yeah.
Then that finally comes to an end with a loss at Brighton, and lo and behold, we lose the next week.
Yeah.
And we've got games coming thick and fast now. Galatasaray ain't going to be a walk in the park. It's probably one of our easiest group games. It's not going to be easy.
I honestly, I don't even see a win.
Confidence
I don't.
confidence got to be on the floor. With the fact that we lost away to Bayern, very disheartening.
If we lose Galatasaray, there's a chance we're not even making out of the group.
That's it. They've got to go and win this game.
You have to.
You have to win your home games anyway if you realistically want to be going through. I
Yeah.
think you can avoid to slip up away from home. But it's going to be a tough game, and the way they're playing at the minute, the confidence is poor. But it's crazy because I think there is players like Casemiro in the European competitions and also like in the Carabao all last season and this cup game he played midweek. He just looks like a different player.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
In the Prem, he's not doing very well at the moment at all. I think it's maybe made us look silly because we made all our jokes about Casemiro being bad against Brighton. Then we went and played Bayern midweek and he gets 2 goals.
Yeah.
2 goals that...
I still think he just looks off it, though.
Top goal scorer for us this season.
Yeah.
We're saying he's poo.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's not poo. I love Casemiro. I actually do.
No, but if you watch it, I get the stats and everything. People can always bring out stats. But if you watch the games like we do all the time, you can see he's not at it.
Not anywhere near his best.
No.
And it's more concerning because I think there's a lot of people talking about the age there, like he's an older player. I don't really buy into that personally because it's not like he's suddenly aged ridiculously. He's aged since last season. Last season he was brilliant.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's coming into it just yet. But I don't know why he's playing the way he's playing. I don't know if sometimes as United fans, some of these players that are coming in, that we give them a bit too much credit too quick and they think that they're safe.
Yeah.
Do you like Casemiro? I thought last season, when he came in, I was like, this guy's heads and shoulders above anyone in that kind of position that we've had for years. And then he rightfully gets his plaudits from the fans, but they're singing his name and all this. He'd never had that at Madrid, and he won all them Champions Leagues there. And it makes me think, do they sort of get a bit complacent? Because like Martinez comes in, fights for the badge, the fans love him, suddenly he looks shit.
Yeah.
Like, do they just suddenly think, oh, well, the fans love me now,
Rashford's
so I'm fine.
another one. He was top goal scorer last season, gets a new big deal contract. He's nowhere to be seen.
No, he's been poor this year so far.
So we've got something on the screen now of United's next, well, say 6 games. It's going to be 5 now. So you've got Galatasaray, Brentford, Sheffield United, Copenhagen, and then City, right? How many wins should you get out of them? I see should be 4.
Okay. So how many we should... Oh, so you think we should get 4?
Yeah.
I think we should be beating Palace at home, but obviously we've just lost that.
Yeah, we've just lost that.
We should be beating Galatasaray at home. We should be beating Sheffield away.
I think even Brentford at home, we should be beating them.
Well, we should be. Realistically, the games I think we will win. I think we'll win 2 out of that run.
What, Copenhagen and Sheffield?
I think so. I think Copenhagen will be an easier game than Galatasaray.
Yeah.
I think Brentford will beat us. But it might be a good time to play Brentford because they don't look great at the moment.
No.
But that'd be typical that they come and beat us anyway.
But what are you saying about United's season? Because if you're saying 2 out of them fixtures, surely there's no hope for United.
So this might be a bit reactionary, but that's what we've got to do on here. And especially, we can only go off what we've seen so far. And you're going to hear me now. Tipped us to win the league. You know that's a bit of a blind bias. I was sort of doing it for the bait, but I was really confident going into the season. I thought we did well last year, made some good signings. I was confident. I personally, based on the opening 7 fixtures, don't think that we make top 4.
No.
I don't think that it's too late to turn that around by any means. But if we play the way we've played, there's teams that are better. That City, Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal, Villa, Brighton, Newcastle, maybe some more. They're all comfortably better than we are at the moment.
Yeah, I agree.
So I would be putting all them above us in the league table. Well, there's 9 teams above us in the league table at present. We're 1 point clear of Nottingham Forest. They just avoided relegation last year. So at the moment, I'm struggling to see a world where we get in the Champions League, and our best chance of getting back in that competition is winning it this year. And we might not even get out the group at this rate.
We're going to win Champions League. It's all fine.